Okay, folks, we're gonna start the meeting. It's an informal kind of meeting, so there's no salute or anything like that. But you want to salute at anyone? We were actually going to sit down there as opposed to up here, but Steve said he wants the table is more comfortable, so we're going to sit up here.
Right on my lap.
Just to give everybody just a brief introduction for those that haven't attended a master plan subcommittee before. Every municipality in the state of New Jersey has what's called a master plan. And every 10 years by state law, every municipality has to do what's called a re-examination report on that master plan. So Lakewood's 10 years is up, and this is our year to re-examine our master plan. Tom's River is re-examining the master plan now. I think Long Ridge just did theirs. So this happens in every town in the state of New Jersey every 10 years. The master plan committee is comprised of members, and then the committee forms subcommittees. This particular subcommittee is called the Downtown Subcommittee. This is, I think, the second time that we've met. Ben Heineman is the chairman of the Downtown Subcommittee. And he put together a presentation of some suggestions that he has as far as in terms of just downtown flow. We have no formal agenda, and what he's done with this presentation, we will ask any members of the public if you have any suggestions, comments. There's really no formal agenda. It's an informal type of meeting, and everybody from the public who wants to get up to the mic and say anything will have the opportunity. And
Salute the flag.
you want to salute the flag? Okay, let's salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so this is the first time that we're all seeing this presentation. We haven't, besides for Ben, nobody's seen this presentation before either. So, Ben, without further ado.
Okay, thank you. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I want to thank you all for coming. Special thank you to, I don't know your name?
Marion Portis.
Marion Portis for bringing me the extension cord so we can actually see what's going on over here. As Justin said, this is the Master Plan Committee. Justin is the chairman of the Master Plan Committee, and they've tasked me to be the chairman of the Downtown Subcommittee. What's important to set up first and to everybody to realize over here is I really didn't want to sit over there. Steve is a township committee employee. We are not, and the master plan is specifically not township people. I am one of you, and that's why I wanted to be down here. I'm not dictating, I'm not anything. This is really discussion. These are things that we discussed beforehand. I put it down on paper or PowerPoint. It's here for discussion. I do have the additional disadvantage that I'm a marketing expert, and so my ideas are sometimes a little different than others, but we're going to put it on the table and we'll talk about it. We have had a few meetings in the past, and now it's just the final one to go to the public and to take their input and see if it flies or doesn't fly, and we'll go there. So don't shoot me. Let's just listen to what we have to say, and then we'll just all talk together. Okay. We're talking about downtown, and just to be very clear, where we are right now is the B2 zone, which I believe is somewhere like from Route 9 to about Monmouth Avenue, from about 5th Street down to Main Street. That's basically the downtown area. Our task, as we said before, the overview of what we're going to discuss is number one, to assess the current situation in downtown, create a 10-year plan, as was said before, this is for the next 10 years, and talk about the plans for growth and increased business. It seems to be unanimous throughout the people that we spoke to. They all want to increase business. The question is how, and so over the next 10 years, what are we going to do to make it more possible to have more business? Areas of concern that we had in downtown, some people said this is like sort of an old school look, and maybe it's time to refresh it a little bit. There is something to that old look, but maybe it still can be refreshed with some kind of downtown look. be refreshed and people would like to see such a thing. Technology, if there's any way that we can increase technology somewhere in the downtown, we're going to talk about that in a minute. If anyone has more suggestions, we'll hear about that later. There is a no parking downtown ordinance, meaning that if you build any buildings in downtown, you're not required to have any parking. Some people thought that there should be limits to this, and we'll talk about that as well. Traffic and bottlenecks, one of the reasons I came late tonight, and additional parking if there's any way possible that we can have more parking on the streets to allow more customers to come and make it easier to shop. And then another thing that comes up all the time is parking enforcement. Should we enforce, should we not enforce? It's back and forth, so I put it down on the table. One by one, the old school look, should we freshen it up with perhaps some incentives, perhaps full or partial grants to encourage remodeling or refacing of the building, go with the township, with UEZ, or whatever other grants there may be available, the CDBG, I'm not sure if it goes into that or not, but perhaps open something up, or perhaps tax abatements for new construction. There were some people that actually approached us and said, we would like to tear down some of the old buildings and put up something new, but we want something in return if we're going to beautify the downtown. Maybe a tax abatement, maybe something, we'll figure something out. So that was on that factor. Technology, what we've noticed and what people have said was Verizon Fios, which is, I think, the fastest cable internet out there, is not available in the downtown. It's available a little further out. It's not brought here to the downtown. Many companies, including my own, would have loved it. It's not here right now. Is it something that we can talk to Verizon or something and try to bring it in or make something else available? As I said a little bit about the no parking ordinance, there was a recommendation to limit the no parking required for buildings, or actually new buildings. Obviously anybody who's in there is grandfathered in, but the new buildings up to 2 floors, which is basically what most of the downtown is right now. If you want to do additional floors, you would have to somehow provide parking, whether it be underneath or wherever it may be, there would have to be parking. There was a suggestion, and this is in order to allow the businesses that are currently there to grow to their potential and to grow even more without cluttering it up with additional strains. That was one of the suggestions that came up. Traffic and bottlenecks, and this is going to be a big thing and mostly what I'm going to be talking about. We have what we've seen or believe is, and let me just give one more introduction. I'm not a professional, and all this will have to go to professionals to make sure that it's legit and it can work, but just from a layman's point of view, what we've seen and what we're recommending. The professionals that are working for the master plan are not here tonight, but they see this and they will see more, and they'll look into it to make it make sure that it's all correct. Clifton Avenue and Main Street seems to be the biggest bottleneck. Right there on that corner, you can't go down, you can't come up from South Clifton Avenue, and it's just Clifton Avenue southbound is often backed up to 5th Street, and then parts of 4th Street and 2nd Street going the other ways also seem to be backed up with the lights and the sequences and people trying to turn and so on and so forth. That seems to be a big issue. Possible solutions would be a one-way street grid, and then perhaps correcting lane patterns. We've looked around at successful business hubs or downtown districts. Look at Manhattan. Manhattan is all one-way streets, straight through. Brooklyn, especially their main avenues where they have all the stores, they went one way. You go to Philly, downtown Philly, you got all these places, it's all one way. The traffic...
You don't have to go that far, you go to Red Bank, Asbury Park.
Red Bank, Asbury Park,
Yeah.
correct. All of them. It's all one way. It's a major change. It's going to be something that we have to be comfortable with, but it's done, and it's done in successful places, and there must be a reason for it. And if we want to move to the next stage, the suggestion perhaps would be to make it a one-way grid. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more. So over here I pinpointed the bottleneck, the Route 88, which I'm going to discuss in detail in a few moments, and the backup that goes all the way up to 4th or 5th Street. It's really backed up many times. The suggestion over here is to have Clifton going one way southbound. going down. And there's a few reasons for that. And then Lexington Avenue would go back northbound. But what we believe is over here as follows, that for when, if you're coming up South Clifton Avenue, you can easily come in over here and go turn in. Well, you can't turn to every block if we do these one ways, but you can easily turn in there without having to go over the traffic to be able to turn. So it should be pretty easy. Just come up and turn into the blocks that you're going to need, as opposed to just going straight up. If Clifton's going the other way, then to get in would be that much harder. At the same time, Lexington Avenue will be going upwards only, and you'll be able to just go quickly and turn. Lexington definitely does not have as much traffic, but it will obviously bring more or less to it. 4th Street and 2nd Street we have going west, and that is because there are lights over there, and so therefore to be able to go into 9, it'd be best to go to a light, otherwise it'd be impossible to turn. If you come out on 3rd Street, you wouldn't be able to make that left turn out onto Route 9. So therefore, we made these going towards the lights and the other ones going the other way. What are some of the benefits? Okay, so let's go back now to that corner, that bottleneck corner of Clifton Avenue and Route 88. The suggestion over here is that when you come down Clifton Avenue at the end, there should be 2 lanes, and you should continue to go 2 lanes down South Clifton. I did leave the parking on the side. I did not remove any parking that's over there at the South Clifton. I made 2 lanes. I did
You are
alleviate.
removing it, you're not removing it?
I'm not removing the parking.
It's 3 spots.
Why, it's only 4 or 5 spots anyway.
The last thing I want to be up there and say, I'm taking away parking. Okay. You want to do it? Do the public session. So
The truth is, once you have so many,
now, so you have 2 lanes going down, and that should allow that Clifton Avenue should be able to go straight, go into 2 lanes, and continue 2 lanes, and allow double the amount of traffic to go through by every single light. Going back up South Clifton, so obviously 1 lane will be available, so you can turn into Main Street and go back to Route 9. What we've created over here was some kind of I don't know what you call these turnoff lanes. And what I also did was Main Street goes straight, and then I created a 2nd lane on Main Street, so that the people coming in here are not even yielding, they're just going straight. So the concept over here would be that all cars coming up from South Clifton Avenue will never stop if they want to turn. They can go straight and continue to go straight right up Route 88. They can eventually change lanes and go into Lexington Avenue if they want to come across, and then back into Clifton Avenue. But that hopefully should alleviate a lot of the traffic that's over here. Watching the traffic over here, there's for sure more than 2/3 of the traffic that's either going straight or turning. The turning lane over here doesn't have as much traffic as the other 2. We're hoping that people will continue to go this way or a little bit that way, but it should alleviate this in a very big way, so that this traffic continues flowing without ever stopping for any kind of lights.
the issue is getting to that point. The issue, right now, the issue is you can't get to that point because those 2 lanes are backed up so far back. You can't even get to the section where you want to make a right turn. But now this should alleviate
This
that
should alleviate
because
the whole-
you're only going to have 2 lanes. You have 1 left turn lane and 1 right turn lane.
Okay, yeah, 100%. If you don't mind, I'm almost done, and then we can just talk about it. Again, this is not mine, this is everybody's, and I'm you. So is this clear, where we're going with this?
Yes,
Okay, we spoke about additional parking, and my feeling is that, and I'll show you a picture in a second, that, I don't know if you can see this, but this will be Clifton Avenue. This is 5th Street and going down to 4th Street. There is a municipal lot over here, back here, that has angled parking. I took the same grid and I put it back over here on Clifton Avenue. It's very possible, again, the engineers have to check this out, that we can get angled parking all the way down Clifton Avenue. According to my calculations, you get 50% more spots on Clifton Avenue all the way down. In addition, we would have 2-sided parking on all the other streets. The ones that specifically do not have it right now is 5th Street, 4th Street, and parts of 1st Street, from the little bit that I looked. So you would get double side parking on both of those, 1-way traffic, so you're going to be adding a lot of parking, and the traffic flow should really go much, much smoother. I believe that the one thing that we have to talk about is the delivery, the trucks, where they would go. At the end of each block, I don't know if you can see this, at the end of each block, they have these intrusions, or whatever you call them, that are sticking out. Obviously, we can't do any angle parking over there, but there is room over there. There's about 20 or 25 feet, I think each one is, so that trucks, I think, possibly could park over there, either one side or both sides, and then do their...
It's not a problem, you have 2 lanes, it's not a problem.
I don't know that you're gonna have, still be able to have 2 lanes in the middle, and I tried measuring it, and I almost got run over, so I went back.
You can only, I actually measured it, you can have one side angle.
You have one side angle and two lanes?
And the other side regular parking.
Okay, from my calculations, I measured it was 16, it was 19 feet, what they need, 16 feet for the angle, and then I measured the road. It looked like that it would work both sides. Again, the professionals have to do it, and I'm not gonna get involved with that, but that's that. And the last thing that we spoke about that was on the list was parking enforcement. Again, I just wrote this on my own, but it's been a long debate with pros and cons either way. Those that have been on the block longer believe that it has a negative effect. People it doesn't give that welcoming downtown district that people just come and do what you have to do, and they were not in favor of enforcement. In addition, everybody seemed to agree that the enforcement is not necessary for the customers, the enforcement is necessary for the store owners. So really the store owners have to get together and talk to each other and make sure it's done, and not to make it a not welcoming and an enforcement type of environment that people would that's, again, that was the thoughts. This is not the Bible or anything like that, and that's it. So in summary, we had to create a plan to encourage downtown beautification, bring technology to downtown, create ordinances that limit the no parking to 2-story buildings, change to a one-way traffic grid, fix the traffic pattern at Clifton and Main Street, added angle parking and 2-sided parking and delivery zones, and I believe that's it. Thank you for listening.
Sorry.
I've just been the representative. There's a few people on the committee, so go up there and listen to everybody. Moshe, you're one of them. You want to
Just a thought about the town square downtown. Was anything brought up about that? About number one, the homeless at night, and sometimes negative personnel that hang out there, and maybe turning it into a additional parking. Is that brought up in anything?
Yeah, I know that the mayor brought it up and he wants to do it right now. He wants to make it in a way that they can, when they need it for events, they'll be able to turn it to events and otherwise make it into parking. It's not in our plan, we can put it in our plan, it's a good point, and let's write it down. Are you taking notes, Justin?
Yeah, I'll write that one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay, you're on the committee, you want to listen to everybody? We're all listening together. Okay, go ahead. Anyone else? Yes?
Yeah, Moshe Zion, so on to it on Mexico Lakewood. Just wanted to speak about the Lexington Avenue. I think they call it right turn triangle. So first of all, right now.
This?
Yeah, right now. I just wanted to point out that there's a no turn on red sign going from South Clifton down to 88. It was brought up by the Township Committee a while back. A couple of years ago, and probably 10 times since then. They said that the state didn't want to allow right turn on red. At this point, yes, since it is a state road, you would need their approval for all of this and all that. Also, you should...
Can I comment on that?
Yeah.
We are aware of that, and the state is has committed that they will be working on a few of the highways over here, along with the county, and one of them is Highway 88, which is in bad shape.
Right.
The reason for the no turn on right is because you cannot see, coming up on an angle, you cannot see if cars are coming straight into this or they don't want you to turn. This would alleviate that because you're not going into any traffic and you just let it go straight.
I gotcha. And then also, let's say you're making that right turn. So you're in the right turn lane. You would probably have to do a little bit of work by Lexington, like since no one's going to be going straight at Clifton, they're going to be going up Lexington. First of all, did you send in my comment I wrote to you a few months ago about the buses? My comment that I sent in an email, because I wasn't at the last thing you bought, but I watched it, was that right now Lexington and between 88 and 1st Street is going one way going south, right? the reason for that is, and then the whole Lexington is going two ways. The whole reason for that is because NJ Transit buses want to be able to make a right turn out of their parking lot and then make a right turn on Lexington. It's easier for them to do it if there's no cars coming at them the other way. So now, if you do this, that would mess them up. But my suggestion is that we work with them. We tell them that if their buses just cross over First Street, where there anyways right now there still is an always stop sign, they can go out to Monmouth, which is also which is like the same type of turn, and there's also about the same amount of space for the buses to turn, and then they can go out from Monmouth instead of doing Lexington, and your idea would work to make Lexington going northbound. That was what I said. But I just wanted to point out, if you do have that right turn going into 88, and you do have all the cars, and now you're making a left turn onto Lexington, you should probably make like a left turn lane to Lexington to give them room. Right now with NPGS and with the buses, when people are making that left turn, everyone else goes around them. It's like a shoulder of the road, it isn't really a lane. If we could somehow work this out that there are 2 lanes even until Monmouth, be a good idea. But also, if you do that, just know that you're going to be coming up that right turn, you're in that right lane, and all the other cars are going in your left lane, right? And of course, it's a 25 mile per hour speed limit, but you understand the cars are going to be speeding on your left. You're going to be making a left onto Lexington, you're going to be going into that left lane. Just pointing that out, that you should somehow, I'm not so sure if having a right lane is a good idea, because then you're going to be anyways going into the left lane to make a left turn on Lexington.
Definitely a good point, and I thank you. When we were discussing this, there was actually an idea to go straight from Hurley Street and to come up the back way and just go right up to Lexington and put a light over there. But I figured that until the light comes, will take that much longer.
Going up Hurley, you're going to be coming up.
They wanted, someone suggested, coming from Hurley, this is the Franklin redevelopment.
Yeah.
Coming up from Hurley, somehow going through here and coming up into Lexington, have a light on Route 88. But having a light is going to take about 5 years.
Right.
This might be a faster route, but
Well,
yes,
there
the
is a
professionals
light
have to
there
look at it.
now. There
Not
is
by
a light.
Lexington. Not by Lexington.
Oh, not by Lexington, right, so there is a light by Hurley. So now with the Franklin Street, because you did mention that, I was going to bring that up. Does the township own that triangle? Not all of it. So now I do know about the Franklin Street project, but the township doesn't own all of that triangle. There is a store there. See, there is the nut store is like a little bit more south. I'm just saying, it all looks good.
I passed by. I made that after the nut store, so you can just.
Right, okay. No, but again, I'm still not sure who owns what, so it's something that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bob. Bill, sorry.
Okay, Sam.
My issue is at Clifton Avenue, further up.
Bill is also on the master plan committee, and he does a lot of good work for the whole town. Thank you, Bill.
I said Bill was the first chairman of Suckings to finish.
Clifton Avenue, right now, further north, all the shops are there, and there's a significant problem today with tractor trailers parking, double parking, because they have to unload their goods to the stores. I was always thinking that we need some kind of an alleyway or something like that so they can deliver merchandise without tying up our main street. Would there be any thoughts or plans of seeing if we could clear some areas to be in back, like there is at the Bagel Nosh? There's the parking lot in back of it. They can have deliveries, but with good plans and the other, you can't. There's nowhere to go.
On this side of Clifton, thanks to the UEZ and the township and a lot of work that was put in by many people, there currently is from 5th Street all the way down to 1st Street. There's parking lots that go right through. I don't know if the trucks can go there and stop there, but they're really behind all the stores. It does go straight through. I don't know what they can do on the other side. I have to look what's going on over there, but we can make a recommendation. We can ask them to look into it. We will do.
Okay, and I understand the one-way streets, but Second Street from 9 to Clifton on down, that is a very congested area with a lot of merchants. If you make that one way, you can't come up Route 9 and turn right because it's going to be going in the opposite direction. I don't know how that would...
And it would cause a lot more traffic because everyone has to go 4 more blocks. to get
You're
from
exactly right. You start going in circles as opposed to direct, and you're on the road more often. Now, 2nd and 4th, even though there are lights there, that has to be 2 ways because people come into town from different directions, especially because they hit a municipal parking lot between 2nd and 3rd. People that park to go into the municipal building. What would really be wonderful if this old building that we're in should become available and put the municipal building up by the New Hampshire Avenue. This would be the first thing to be able to reestablish the downtown area how we want it, and then everything can follow piece by piece.
a lot of more parking, such more parking.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you. They're very good points, and appreciate it. There's no question that the concept of one-way streets is going to be
Difficult.
difficult. It's going to be difficult in the beginning to grasp, but I've spoken to many of the places where they have it, and once people get into the swing of it, it's very simple. You're going here, you're going there, and it's quite simple. 2nd Street was taken into consideration, but again, because of Route 9, the suggestion was made going that way. I don't necessarily agree with you about 4th Street and 2nd Street being both ways because they'll just go in on 3rd Street and go down to the township municipal building has an opening over there as well to get into the municipal lot. So we will be able to access everything. It just means that you might have to go around one more time, but the chances are that you won't have to because the chances are you'll find parking even on the street before you have to go around again the block. But
can I make one more comment?
Sure.
You mentioned Verizon's Fios. Cablevision has a contract for this geographic area. However, there are parts of Lakewood where Verizon has installed Fios. Now, they contract that geographic area and have rights to it because they supply sometimes closed-circuit television to the schools and I think the universities and things like that. But we've had that contract for an awful lot of years. I think we have to look really hard at that contract because Fios is encroaching in areas of Lakewood. I tried to switch from Cablevision to Fios, and they said you can't have our Fios. You can have anything else you want, but you can't have Fios. And what I'm suggesting is the Township Committee really gets serious at looking at that contract. Township very seldom ever has a contract without an escape clause. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it would be to get out of it. If you can bring a superior product in by a company that really, really, really wants to be here, I think we're much better off. And that would be the, I guess, Tom Henschel to look into that contract. But if we could make that switch, I think it would benefit every one of us.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Don't shoot me about 2nd Street.
Nisano Zach, co-treasurer of the bookstore on 2nd Street. I've been there since '91, 8 years old. I've been there since. This first question: who was on the committee for trying to? Who's on the committee that provides information, other than yourself and Justin and Tom? Who was on the committee?
Mr. Langfrey and Mr. DB Electronics. Bernstein.
The main question is firstly who.
We just gathered information.
I'm trying to understand. Excellent. The main question is, Clifton Avenue bottleneck is you're not making a one-way. At my understanding, you're helping all those that come down from Yeshiva down to Clifton Avenue. That's the trouble. If I've been there many times, and they're again, since 8 years old. Traffic is when Yeshiva's out, they come down. So all we're doing is making more room for more cars to come, clouding and more. Not helping any of the customer store base in there. to have an idea how general to get the Rhines are backed up, they come to Clifton. And then we make anything change to Clifton, they'll go to Lexington. Oh man, they have to get it somehow, and they come to Clifton Avenue. The problem with the traffic of Clifton Avenue, how are we helping them, not the store owners, not making a difference. And
I mean, we could leave everything the way it is, but the thought is, first of all, I don't mind if there's another 100 cars passing my store every single day. I would be very happy, actually.
Shuttle buses.
So that's, even if they're just passing by, but that's.
our goal is to make it easier for them to get home, or goal to make downtown a better place to shop and to work.
If downtown traffic is flowing, people will go through it more and would think more often to stop and get their stuff over there because it's moving. The reason why people will not be coming here today is because it's a big traffic jam.
There's an ample amount of cars coming from Yeshiva going south. There's the numbers I don't know, but the more space you give them, the
Let
quicker
them-
go.
Just tell them to pass by my store and go that way.
And
I
that-
want them to
they're not
pass-
telling anything.
You know
Oh,
that
yeah.
right now Waze avoids Clifton Avenue. People avoid Clifton like the plague. So as long as it's
The more
moving,
room you have,
customers will come. Customers avoid your store.
you're not getting anything. You're just getting more room for more cars coming on southbound. That's all it is.
Your customers are not coming to you because it's difficult to get there. If you make it easy to get there, you will have more customers.
You're not. If you have the same, again, you have ample amount of cars coming southbound at those crunch
When
hours.
you do a two-way lane, you're not doubling, you're quadrupling.
Okay.
So quadrupling, you have a lot.
And then there's going to be more cars to back up. Listen, they're going to have the
There
same
be as
thing.
many cars as there can
Okay,
be.
I'm very confident.
The flow has to be done with a professional, obviously, but the concept is that if it flows down, means
But it
instead
has-
of having one lane going out, you have two lanes going out, so twice the amount of cars are going down.
Not twice, it's 4 times.
Maybe 4 times, whatever.
But the adverse effect of making, again, like I said, making people, them changing anything status quo, people are okay with. Anything changes, I have to go another block, forget it. Too complicated for me. And if staying status quo, and Clifton, again, is going to, the way it works now, the flow of all the years, is bringing people to go either direction.
You're
jump
happy with the status quo?
ways now.
Yeah.
I think it's very good. I think a different issue, which is the parking, which I'm sitting there with
So
Rabbi Stein
you're
and
the
Rabbi
only-
Weiss.
You're probably the only store owner
I'm
that's
sitting
happy.
with two people next to me, Rabbi Shimon Weiss and Rabbi Stein. Both of them, June on the planet and like that. And both of them understand, and so is Mr. I don't know his name, from works in the corner in in the kitchen store. And whoever I talk to on Second Street feels that the parking should be enforced. I don't know who has against it, but parking now, the reason why parking, it's not smart parking, which means you have store owners that park in front of the stores, not themselves employees, park in front of the stores. And Ken Glance every single day in front of the store, the same 3 people barbers park in front every single day, come 9:30, and they're there an entire day. And we have ordinance to enforce it. Why shouldn't it be enforced? It can be enforced smartly, like everything. You have a cop who could be rough and nasty, or you have a nice cop. There used to be back in the day, a couple years ago, on 2nd Street, almost every day. I don't know the office, I don't know his name. He was amazing. He never wrote a ticket. He told me very simply, I don't write a ticket unless it puts another person in danger. And he was great. Traffic flew, it was wonderful. You have a person, a talented person who could work with the store owners or any committee to understand how to enforce parking laws. Not, I got you. I'm not to enforce a person but to enforce the current parking laws, to make new ones, that should work smartly. If you go to the parking lot at night, the parking lot is full. We're looking to change the status quo for the general businesses or for the apartments or wherever it is that's being in downtown, for offices, which is, again, if we decide that, we want downtown the office space buildings, and then we should gear to them, that'd be that, and then bury the businesses. But as of now, always been, we're focusing on the business, small businesses, which have been in for the years. There's only one, there's two larger buildings I know about, offices. One is Lexington Towers, which may spend the north of money. I don't understand what his logic is, but the north of money on parking, which is great. The second place is BB Graphics itself, which also a lot of money on parking, and it's beautiful there also. And your employees I think, understand, I see them parking on the street, they park not the first row, everybody should have to walk all the whole day, they park further in. It's partially, you have to do it simply that the proper education, how to park smartly, and people enforce it. You're not getting a person who is shopping in the store, they know it makes sense. We go to a store, if I'm going to eat the entire day, it makes sense. You got to park further in. If you're a worker, then it makes sense. You have to, the regular shopper is not being more than 2 hours, not scared of tickets, because they come to shop and go home. Who is scared of ticket? Previously parked all day, and yeah, they should get enforced.
As I said, it is a back and forth thing. I've been
What's
downtown
why-
for 26 years.
Okay.
I've seen all kind of meter maids. I've seen, you know, you can't tell them what to do and what not to do.
Why not?
Different people come, you can't. And we went back to the police and we said, you
You know
saw
what?
something.
You
There's
know
another
what?
thing.
You can't tell an employee, I don't want you to park on the street.
I tell
Park-
mine.
They don't listen to me, I tell them, they don't
Right.
listen. They wanna do what's good for them.
But you
personally-
want customers, then you gotta do what's good for your
I know,
customers.
but I beg people, please don't park here, you work here, you want customers to come. The owners will park further away so that they leave room for customers to come. The employees,
What's the con of having
they
a
don't have
park?
that vision.
What's the con?
I'm not
What's-
arguing.
I'm not-
I'm not arguing. I
Mr.
hear.
Hein, what's the con? Who was against enforcing it?
I don't like it. I know that the people, my customers used to say,
This is a discussion that we've had our store owners on Second Street for months. Spoke to the mayor, he asked me to get the signatures of all the store owners on Second Street. It literally took me 15 minutes to go up and down the block. Every single store owner on Second Street signed the name, A. Lichtenstein has the paper, with the signatures of every store owner, begging to enforce the laws.
You can have
There are
my-
laws for a reason. The laws are meant to enforce something, and it's very simple. We are all losing business. I am thinking of moving out, simple as that. Reason being is there is no parking, it's known already. It's known in town, you go to any stranger, Mr. Schwartz down the street, you wanna go to downtown for shop, the answer is no. There is no parking. Enforcement is the only answer that I think is gonna work. Bottom line, that's what everything works, right?
Stores up in 20
how long are you in downtown?
6 years.
I'm in 20 years.
It's
Absolutely.
irrelevant.
What difference
I'm not
make?
arguing with you guys.
It's irrelevant.
I hear, we're gonna write it down. I will tell you that Second Street has been noted as to be a very hard block. There's no question about it.
Every
And as
block.
much as they added
Every
parking.
Every park is full.
Every block in downtown, there's no parking.
No,
If I
that's
can make a
not-
suggestion that might satisfy Rabbi Zaks, is that the easiest thing to alleviate the traffic coming in and going out is that you make apartments locally. Those apartments will walk to Yeshiva, those apartments will walk to the downtown stores. That's the easiest solution to alleviate the traffic problems. Instead of building thousands of apartments on the outskirts of Lakewood, build it right in town, so you walk to Yeshiva and you walk to the stores. I think if you wanna copy Brooklyn and Manhattan or whatever, you copy their, macho of high-rise apartments, and they should walk to the stores and to the Yeshiva. Whatever. That's the solution. You're taking cars off the road.
You're not, because everyone needs to drive elsewhere. Everyone has cars, I think.
Noreen Gill, 192 Coventry Drive, Lakewood. I've lived in Lakewood 45 years. I know Clifton Avenue like this hand, and I swear to you that if you don't start at 11th Street, 10th, 9th, and 8th, and make parking on one side, you're not going to have a traffic flow down Clifton Avenue. The reason being that if I'm going south on Clifton Avenue and I want to make a left-hand turn onto 11th Street, I have to wait in the middle of the road until one car finally comes down the street, and then I think, oh, I'm going to be able to get that turn in. Oh no, I can't. Why? Because there's parking on both sides of the street. So therefore, I'm stuck on Clifton Avenue from 11th, 10th, 9th, and 8th. Why? Because there's parking on both sides of the street, and in order for me to go down that street, I have to wait maybe 10 minutes till one car comes down at a time. That hinders the flow of going down Clifton Avenue. You don't have a direct traffic flow because of your side streets. The other thing is, the last thing I want to see in town is apartments. And if you're going to tear down some places, no apartments upstairs. No more hanging out the windows, okay? And if you're going to do a second floor, put elevators in. There's no, it's wasteful doing a building and not putting an elevator in it. Also, another thing, I've been traveling around different towns, and the one thing I noticed is that when people my age, I'm going to be 74, if I was walking with a walker or a cane and nobody's there to open the door for me, I can't get it open. And I noticed on Sunday there's a lot of elderly shopping in the town, and I see that if somebody doesn't come to their aid, they can't open that door. If you want to make it easier for people to shop, that's another suggestion, okay? That you have to have a door that can open easy. I don't know what you could do. The other thing is, we need more parking. Everyone agrees to that, okay? I think we have, I suggested years ago, the parking lot, the old Little League Stadium be used as a high-rise parking lot, okay? Now, most of the students use that for the school, the yeshiva there, okay? But there are times during the day other people can use it. However, that ground, they did borings. I don't think they can build on it, okay? You have to look to go up. You need more parking in town for the businesses. The other thing is, the parking has to be enforced. I don't care if you park your car sideways or on the roofs of the business. I'm here 45 years. You know what my biggest problem is? Laying on the horn when I drive down Clifton Avenue. Why? Because I take Clifton Avenue because after 45 years I can't get it through my head. It's the most direct route for me. But in reality, it isn't. Because why? People double park. The wife's got to run into the store. The wife's got to run into the bake shop. I'll only be a minute. That's got to stop. You have people hanging around the town that, who wants to go there? Who wants to even go to the library? That's got to be cleaned up. No more rentals upstairs. If you're going to go modern, go modern.
Thank you, Larry.
Come on. Okay, I have a lot of things to say, and it was once. Well, firstly, the court days make the parking downtown an impossibility, and the town needs the court to have parking, and so I think that the suggestion of this gentleman that the whole municipal building be moved is almost imperative. There's not enough parking for the courts, and just it's a problem that's unsolvable on the court days. So you have to move.
I think I have an idea how to solve that problem. Town Square, we can add an additional 50 parking spots.
That was definitely help.
Especially on a court day,
Yeah.
50 parking spots.
Town Square doesn't-
And then on July 4th and on Memorial Day and
I think the town square is
holiday, they
is a
can
wonderful
close
thing.
up those spots, which is just
It's
on
a wonderful
Sunday,
thing, but
use it for-
it's a wonderful thing, but we can't afford it. We can use the damn car.
Don't move
Keep the damn car.
it. That's all that we have left in town.
Keep it.
I'll bring it over to your house.
No, I want to leave town.
Maybe we can take away the municipal building and build a parking garage right here. That would serve the entire downtown. It would make it an amazing place.
And who's going
Cost-
to pay for it?
Taxpayer.
Thank you.
Okay? The stores pay taxes, the sales tax pays taxes. If you increase the ability of the stores to do business and the viability of the downtown, the real estate taxes increase, and makes it, the tax revenue will grow. Listen, parking garages are never cheap, but sometimes they're necessary.
Why can't you just put a parking garage separating down the whole municipal building?
Well, parking garages is very, it's a wonderful idea, but it's expensive, I acknowledge that. But there are so many areas also on sections in the back, there are so many grassy areas that are not being utilized for parking now. I think somehow the parking lot right next to the municipal building has a lot of grassy areas that with a minimal expense can be paved and many more cars could park. There's no reason that space is not being utilized. The grassy area right now just serves as a nice place for the bumps to sit out and shoot up and drink their beer. It doesn't help anyone. Let's pave it and make it useful. It's true also that the downtown, it's a derelict area, 2nd Street, obviously. That's my block, and I'm here to I'm a proponent for 2nd Street. It's like a Bowery. Quite often there are just derelicts laying on the sidewalk, unfortunately.
That should be enforced.
And then if you see that at any time of day, you should call the police right then.
Right, I do, and you know what happens? They tell me they have a right to stand around. If they're laying on the floor, I call the ambulance. And they take them away.
The court, I was in court once for a friend, of course, and a guy got a ticket. A guy was here because he had a ticket for loitering. So they
The loitering ordinances are very, well, maybe now with President Trump, there's a different atmosphere, but the atmosphere the past 10 years has been, yeah, everyone has their rights, and why should the only pedestrians that are shopping have the right to use the sidewalks? A drunk has a right to stand around too.
The township, I actually looked it up.
That's his life.
It's in chapter 3. There is an ordinance in front of your store. No one is allowed to bother you. Right.
What I'm saying is it makes the whole, it makes that area, the whole 2nd Street area, it is really, there are, at any given moment during the day, there are very often 8, 10 derelicts. It's Bowery-like. And it's a big, it discourages customers from coming to the area. It's even scary. I know the guys. They're nice guys. They're harmless, but they look scary. And that's what loitering ordinances are for. There's a reason for that. So I'd like to see more parking, especially where it's easily implemented. In the grassy areas, that would be a big plus. I think that it is important to enforce the parking. It's exceedingly difficult to tell an employee that not to park in a place that's good for him. He's saying, listen, you want to do what's good for you, I want to do what's good for me. So they don't have the vision to understand that if they park somewhere else, it's good for themselves. Every place has meters. We don't want to put meters, but meters serve that purpose. They give you can't just stand there all day. There's a reason for that. It's not just to make money off the people that are parking there. It's to encourage turnover. And that's what businesses need. They need the customers to come and leave, move on, and not the employees being parked there all day, or even residents in the buildings on the upper floors. They park there for days on end. And that's terrible for the flow of traffic, which businesses vitally need.
Thank you. Yes?
Hello, how you doing? Hey, I kind of got here a little late, so I'm not really too sure. Are we talking about businesses downtown or just the master plan?
This is just the downtown
Just
subcommittee of the master plan.
Okay, so you're talking about the whole master plan in general?
No, this is the downtown part.
Downtown master plan, okay.
I think tomorrow night there's another one for
There's a housing density.
housing density.
Okay.
There is also another committee that deals with traffic all around, and I guess Maureen's comments and things like that should go to them.
I'm here now, so I won't be able to make it tomorrow, so I'm going to send that piece now, so, you know. My name is Richard Jeff, I live in town. I'm a resident of Lakewood, been here for the past 30 years.
Served the Lakewood Board of Ed
Served
for many,
Lakewood
many
Board of Ed
years.
for many years.
Great guy.
Very active in the community, thank you
Yes.
very much. One of my points is actually with the gentleman said here. If you put parking meters on the street, that would get people moving. People have to pay out of their pocket to go out there and pay the meter every 45 minutes or every hour or so. They're going to move those cars. They're going to move those cars, and that will free up the parking for your businesses.
They can park illegally at the hidden spots.
That's where the tickets should come in play. That's where tickets come in play. And if they go over the meter time, they're going to get ticketed anyway. That would also bring revenue into the town to maybe build that parking lot or maybe build that garage that they want to build. You know what I mean? So it's, instead of it coming out of the taxpayer's pocket, it's going to come out of people's pocket who violate the law. Okay, makes sense. The congestion in town, I try to avoid town like the plague. Okay, just coming down, my daughter had a show at the Strand Theater over the weekend, and the traffic was unbelievable. All right, one of the kids almost got hit because people don't stop for pedestrians when they're crossing the street. Okay, even though they're in a crosswalk. All right. So the traffic issue is not just a business issue. It is a downtown issue. It's a town issue in general. All right. When the zoning board approves buildings to go up, we all know that there's not enough parking for these buildings. Okay. Or the bare minimum requirements of the square footage, then have a certain amount of parking. We should ask the zoning board to extend the amount of parking that they allow for these buildings when they go up, to make sure that there's adequate parking for the residents who are going to be living inside these buildings. Because if not, they're going to park in front of your business for days and days without moving their cars. So we should talk to the zoning board about extending that. Another issue that I have on my street is speeding cars coming down the street. It used to be a nice, quiet residential area. It's not anymore. Okay, there's preschools in my neighborhood. There's synagogues in my neighborhood, which is great. But at least people should observe the speed limit when they're coming through residential towns, when it comes to residential zones. They don't. Okay, I can count on both hands how many times I call the police because there's speeding cars trying to get from point A to point B going 50 miles an hour, and they're going to the corner and they stop and they go. Now, someone is going to get hurt. Someone's going to get killed. Okay, and I even went to the local synagogue around the corner and spoke to who I thought the person was in charge to tell the people there that if you're going to come through the street, slow down. I mean, what's the rush? If you're late, you're late. You know what I mean? You speeding down the street is not going to get you in there any faster than it was if you would have been there on time. I also asked the request that when you come in for your Sabbath, if you can drive your vehicle and leave it there and walk home, why can't you leave your vehicle at home and walk to where you have to be? That will eliminate a lot of double-sided parking. So when there's snow, the plow doesn't have any room to go down the street because you have cars parked on both sides. Okay, that will alleviate a lot of parking issues. And these are just some ideas that I have in my head that I need to just put out there, and I told people, requested that they do that. But you know, people do what they want. We can't control what people do. All right. So that would be an ideal that maybe who's ever in charge of the synagogue in the neighborhood is to tell the residents, the people who attend, that what, leave the cars at home. If you can walk to the synagogue, that will alleviate a lot of traffic issues. A lot of traffic issues.
Thank you, Tracy. Very, very good ideas. Tracy, I just want to point out, I sat on the last master plan committee as well, and many of things, the master plan is just a recommendation, and many of things, as Bill will tell you, were never implemented, and they're just recommendations. So it's from the people, the townspeople, recommendations that the planning board, the zoning board, township committee, they look at and they decide if they want to act or don't want to act. So that's really good things that we can put in there. Anyone else?
I'd like to ask a question.
Go ahead.
My name is Marion Partis, and I don't want to play the one-up game, but I moved to this area when I was 6, and that was almost 60 years ago. So I've been here a long time, and the town has changed a lot.
You're not that old.
No, not that old, yeah. My question is, we've talked a lot about the traffic pattern, but you've also talked initially about beautification of the downtown. And I'm curious about what you have in mind about that. For one thing, you talked about that square and putting parking on there, and my sense is that that's not beautification. So what else do you have in mind?
What we were specifically talking about was the fronts of the stores, the brick or the facade on the stores are getting old and peeling and cracking, and could be attended to a little bit better.
Who would be, that would be up to the store owners?
Right, so if there were incentives out there to help the stores, they might want to do it on their own, and or together with the township or whoever it may be, and that will help beautify the downtown.
think to that point, there was an ordinance, I'm sorry.
I have one guy over here first. You, you, I don't know.
Yes, I was wondering, on the Clifton Avenue, are you guys dead set on going that way for traffic, or is there an option the other way? Because my thought is, coming from Cedar Bridge, there's 2 lanes coming out, there's a heavy flow, and like this, you don't have to bottleneck off and round. My thought is, if you come smoothly right onto Clifton, I think that'll be a smoother ride, and people could either come back with Route 9 or Lexington, whichever way, the opposite direction. If you're gonna go that route, perhaps that would just eliminate all the extra turns.
Again, nothing's etched in stone. The
Just
suggestion was going southbound because northbound is very rarely ever a problem. The cars go straight up, it's never backed up. It's going down, that is backed up, and if you're gonna take it away from Clifton Avenue, it's just gonna make everything 100 times worse on the other streets.
So you, I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
There's
So if you're
two-
coming from like New Hampshire, I mean, Cedar Bridge, I mean, up that way?
2
it's
points,
always-
right, there's 2 points. The traffic issues is southbound. So by allowing, the cars are there, so by allowing them to go faster and smoother, that hopefully will make the whole area easier traffic flow. But the problem going upwards, if Clifton would go upwards, then the only way to get into Clifton Avenue from the side roads would be from Route 9, crossing over the traffic,
No, you can do Lexington the other way as well also.
and Lexington. But like this, you have Route 9 and Lexington, easy access going right into all the roads without having to cross over. Again, it was thoughts, it had to go traffic studies, but that was the thoughts, nothing that should.
I know, because whenever I come in the morning up Cedar Bridge, it's a good 15 minutes. Yes.
Up Cedar Bridge until Route 88. Once you get to Route 88,
Yeah, but
Main
that-
Street, there's never a problem going
But
further up.
if you had it going smoothly into 2 lanes, you would alleviate a lot of that traffic.
Well, again, I don't know if you're here for that part where you just go straight, either right, you can go straight without even have to wait for a light.
Road going in into Lexington?
We made a turning lane, that went into its own lane, so that you would never have to stop and never have to yield.
Can you put it up again so that you can see? I don't know whether it's saw it.
I didn't, I just.
Okay,
I mean, I was sitting there, I
I'll
just
talk to you
didn't
later, yeah,
I
sure.
didn't catch that.
Sorry. Motion.
Hi, Moshe Lankery, Clifton Avenue, 4th Street. I just want to bring up a few points. First of all, we're on that subject. I know a few people in my neighborhood on the corner of 4th will be very skeptical about making any roads one-ways. They'll be nervous about it. Just letting you know in advance that it'll be a hard sell to some of the store owners on Clifton. Second point about on this, the Route 88 turnoff through there, I think that's a genius idea, and it's a great idea. Would you think about doing it lower to make it a real turning lane where you can actually stack up 6, 8, 10 cars to get to Route 88? On that corner, you only alleviate and get maybe 2 cars, 1 car. If you do it much lower and it'd be like an off ramp, like an exit ramp, you might be able to get 8 to 10
Take away
cars
from that property.
closer to Hurley.
Again,
I know there's a Franklin Street development, and they want to build apartment buildings there, or they want to build strip malls. I don't know exactly what they want to build there, but I think at this point, from a township point of view, from a store owner's point of view, from people living in Lake point of view, I think traffic flow is more important than trying to build new buildings in that spot, especially if it's the township that owns the property. If we can utilize that property towards a road, where we can actually get like a real exit ramp, there'll be 6 or 8 cars that can go over there. They'll really pull cars off of that.
The concept was, since there's no stopping whatsoever, that even with that small amount of area of space that we're taking, it can just flow right through. However, and I also felt, we also felt that
It's only room for 2 cars. That doesn't, at that point, that's like before.
that whole lane would end up going that way. But we also felt, again, we're trying to do something, or suggest something that was the easiest thing to implement.
Correct.
And starting to go through other properties, I said, people recommend going through Hurley and other things
Right.
like that. But that was the easiest thing to implement that can just happen without
From what I
ruining
understand, the
any.
township does own a lot of that
We're just
property.
saying condemn widening that section, that's
There
all.
is-
Widening Clifton at that point.
There is a store that's on the street right there that candy store, I don't know what it's called, Jerusalem Nut.
Yeah,
It's on the street, it's literally right on the sidewalk.
4 feet off the street.
I went by there a couple of times.
We go right around them now.
Who owns that building?
Doesn't matter who owns it.
There's a township law.
He's waiting for $1 million.
It's part of the Franklin redevelopment plan, but that's been going on for 15 years, as long as I can remember, and right now there's nothing moving on that.
Right, I think if we get traffic moving, that'll help all the other stores in the neighborhood. Especially if you can get that, implement that, see how the rest of it goes. Then you can, if we're gonna start implementing traffic pattern changes, let's implement where the biggest problem is right there, and then slowly maybe get other things to get moving on.
Sure.
I'd like to, someone mentioned something about meters, putting meters on the road. The concept is we want to be customer friendly downtown. We want to be customer friendly, but yet we want to keep cars moving. It might be an idea, I've seen it in some towns, for a quarter. They have meters on the streets, and it's simple, a quarter. So they're not plucking out $5 for parking. It's a quarter for a half hour, 2 quarters, maybe on the roads, in front of the stores. You'll have meters, but maybe in the back lots, if you're away from the street, there'll be no meters. It'll be 2-hour parking, no meters. And on the road itself, maybe it has come time to enforce traffic laws to a degree, even though it's not so customer friendly. But if there's meters, people understand already that you just can't leave your car there for 4 hours. And we do notice that cars stay for extended periods of times, and sometimes it's people living in the apartments upstairs. Talking about that in the future, about apartments on top of stores. This should be something, I know it was in the last master plan, or maybe the plan before that, where you want to eliminate mixed uses, store owners and apartments upstairs. Maybe we should look into continuing that, eliminating the apartments upstairs, because the apartments upstairs bring multiple cars, not just one car. It seems like every apartment on top of the store has 3 or 4 cars, and they're there overnight.
The current ordinance has it that if once you remove it from a dwelling place and make it an office, you cannot go back. But they didn't take it away that it can't be a dwelling place.
Okay, so it might be something. But on the other hand, from to a person that owns a building, we need to give them some kind of incentive to want to refurbish their building. If someone has a building and he's renting upstairs to day workers, he can get a lot of money for the apartments as is, doesn't need to invest in his building to get top dollar. We need to do as a downtown to offer these people that have buildings that need a little refurbishing, how do we entice them to fix up their buildings, put a little more money into their buildings, make a more presentable downtown that will help other stores, bring better...
That's what you're saying.
Or entice them to eliminate the residential too.
Either entice them to eliminate the residential, or just that they should refurbish their own buildings, put a little more pride into their buildings. Most of the store owners now are, not most, a lot of the store owners now are owner operated. So when you see your own building in disrepair, I think a lot of people, most people, not everybody, most people, when their own building is in disrepair, they spend a little money to fix up their own buildings. They have a little pride in your own building. But there are people that own multiple buildings and just have managers, and they just care about the dollar. The question is, how do we entice them? To them, it's all about the dollar. Either a rundown building, maybe a little more tax on an apartment building that's downtown, or not apartment building, a residential on top of the store. Something needs to be thought about. I don't have the answer, but it's something that we should look into. Okay, and like I said, about when everybody here that spoke tonight, it seemed like the main issue was parking. 2nd Street had an issue with, and it came down to parking. Other people spoke up, it came down to parking. It was in the last master plan and was in the master plan beforehand. If you have, a landlord will not build a building unless he has parking. We see the people that built on 2nd Street, built a big, beautiful building, and on 4th Street, someone built a big, beautiful building. They went out of their way, and they purchased additional parking because they couldn't rent out some of their space. And they spent a lot of money to purchase additional parking. That just goes to show you how important parking is. I believe if you have adequate parking, maybe thin out the herd instead of a parking garage, and moving this municipal building. Move this municipal building is a great idea if the township had enough money to fix the potholes. But to spend $25 million to move to another area and then spend another $5 or $10 million to build a parking garage, I don't think that's going to happen in my lifetime in Lakewood. Maybe after they fix the pothole. It's repaving.
Can I join you on that point?
Yes, sir.
Just like to join you on that.
Was that Bill or Bob?
This square block, Clifton, 3rd, 4th, is worth a tremendous amount of money. I think that we could get entrepreneurs that would love to redevelop this spot with enough finances to relocate to property owned by the township in another location. That can start your redevelopment. That can start urban renewal, let's call it. And there are federal grants available for that. I don't know whether the township right now has a grant writer, but if they don't, they should get one. This property is so valuable that an entrepreneur, and I'm just going to, maybe Ralph Zucker or
Cedar Bridge.
Somerset Development, Cedar, doesn't matter. A developer who has the wherewithal to pay for the land, redevelop it, buy it basically from the township redevelop out on New Hampshire Avenue. This could be the very first start of redevelopment. You start planning the city block by block by block. Look what happened to Asbury Park. Oceanfront property that they couldn't give away 10 years ago. It's coming back day by day because Asbury Park is redeveloping that town block by block by block. They're making money for the first time. They're starting to do things right. Red Bank. Red Bank has probably the same or worse parking than we have. You had to, but now they get it. They put parking lots here and there, and there still was no place to park. Now they're going up. 3- and 4-story parking lots. You have to charge for that. Yeah, because that builds the next parking lot. But they're trying very hard to solve the parking problem. So many people never went to Red Bank because you spend hours driving around trying to find where to park. Can't do that. And Lakewood's experiencing the same thing. We need to do this, we have to solve the parking problem first, but this valuable property right here that we're standing on could be sold as a finance a new municipal building on Lakewood Township's property elsewhere. Should be done.
Let me just rebut on what you just said.
Okay.
I agree with you if Lakewood Township was run like a business. But unfortunately, you remember the garbage? Public Works building? Originally, that was supposed to be sold to pay for that. If we sell this, then it's going to end up being a school, and then we're not going to have parking, and we're not going to have
What you need is a very strong, very effective downtown association that really, really works with the governing body to say, listen, this is our town. We need to do this right. And you get a commitment, a contractual agreement on how this is going to work. Lock them into that agreement that some other entrepreneur doesn't come along and say, we're going to do this or that. Lock them in. This property is so valuable.
Can it pay for another project?
I would bet the ranch it could. Now, and that's because, think of the development. This is one entire square block. Think of what could be done with this block for housing, for merchants, it's the beginning of urban renewal, and I think about urban renewal like this. I was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, and that's exactly what they did. They took neighborhood by neighborhood by neighborhood, this very old city, and made beautiful downtown areas, and then they experimented with transportation. Now they got the trolley car that goes along the stops. You can jump on, like in San Francisco. It's charming. That's what you want. That will bring people in and keep them here.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Moshe. Flame.
When I came here today, I really felt bad for the store owners of Clifton Avenue, but not anymore. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. There's two problems, but there's one problem in the downtown area with this B2 zone that you could build 6 stories high and you don't have to provide parking. And most of the stores now in downtown Lakewood is 2 floors. If everybody will go now and start building 6 stories with no parking, then the problem will be even worse. So the suggestion that was given over here today, 2 ideas was given. One was given that we should do enforcement. That means we should have a meter maid come and start looking if somebody's license plate expired, inspection sticker expired. That's what happened over here in the past. And the taxpayer will have to pay more money because you have a parking problem. The second idea was build a parking garage for millions of dollars. We, the taxpayer, have to bail out because there are developers that want to build 6-story buildings. Nobody over here except of Moshe, and I'm giving him credit for that, mentioned, hey, maybe we should talk about the B2 zone, that we should we should be required to put in parking if you build up a 6-story building.
You missed my presentation. You missed my presentation.
I was not speaking about the committee members. I was speaking about the public.
He's a committee member. Thank you. Thank you.
Hold on. The second thing that was discussed over here is the tax abatement. Now, when we're talking about tax abatement, I understand if somebody has a dilapidated property, and it looks run down, and he fixes it over, you give him a tax abatement. What's happening over here in Lakewood, you don't give these people tax abatement. You give these people that build 6-story buildings, they get the tax abatement. So you're actually promoting people to build more and higher and creating a bigger traffic problem, and then you come up with this good solution, let's tax the Lakewood taxpayer. So I'm just talking to the public because the public that came over here, the store owners of downtown Lakewood, are really not into changing the B2 zone. And I know the committee was trying to do it and they tabled it. Why? I heard because some of the developers came over, it's going to hurt us. But the end of the game is, if you keep on building up downtown Lakewood, we're all being stuck with the bill. Oh, it's a major traffic problem. So I don't feel bad for you guys anymore. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I know this has been discussed a few times, but let me just put in my thought about this. There's 2 types of downtowns. And I look at this as there's 2 issues here. There's a short-term issue and a long-term issue. Okay? Short-term issue is you got to evaluate what type of stores are there in downtown. You're right, when you go to a downtown like Red Bank or whatever, and you have a Saks Fifth Avenue, and you have a Bloomingdale's and so on and so forth, where someone wants to park and shop for the day. So there you don't want to force a 2-hour parking because you want people to spend the day there. Bottom line is, look what downtown Lakewood stores are. The Lakewood town stores are not, Lakewood downtown at this time, 2017, is not a place where someone's gonna go spend a day shopping. It's a place where it's convenient shopping, is to jump in, go to your store, do your shopping. If anyone wants to be hurt by 2-hour enforcing, if anybody, from all the store owners, it's my type of business, where I do have customers that spend more than 2 hours, and I'm saying that I'll feed it, just to help the downtown. Because take any store in Lakewood, downtown Lakewood, I don't think you have any store that you have a shop a day for more than an hour. That being said, for the short term, and that's why I keep on trying to bring it up, I think has to be done as soon as possible, is enforcing the 2-hour enforcement. Meters will not work, in my opinion, knowing the community, let's face the fact, knowing the community and so forth, and that's the only answer. Now, for the long term, that's a whole different issue. That's my.
Would you support the B2s that change them?
In other
Don't
places like
change?
Red Bank and Asbury Park, they absolutely do enforce 2-hour parking.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Because there are no big department stores like you talked about, it's all little shops, just like.
But first, that's the day, no one's doing that like.
Thank you, I heard you.
The main
Loud and
thing I
clear.
want to say is, the idea with the traffic, very impressive.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I was going to tell you about the traffic.
Anyone else? Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. We will give all your thoughts over and put it into the master plan, which will be submitted to the township committee. Thank you.
Just in terms of the traffic coming from Clifton.
It's like a half an hour a day.
What?
It's the end of first Seder and the end of second Seder. It's Clifton Avenue.